Hello guys, and welcome back to this video. So in this one we'll be starting off from where we stopped in the last video. So in the last video you pretty much learned how to create a new folder, set up a virtual environment, install Django into the virtual environment, create a project, create an app, and we actually started working with HTTP response, if you can remember, then switched into using the render that was imported from Django.shortcut. And after that, what was the next thing we did? If you can remember, we started working with templates. So we actually made the home.html template and made the base template, which had our navigation bar and pretty much has some basic things that our websites always want to see. And we configured our main.css to the home page and to the base.html. Now in this video we'll actually go to the functional part of this website. So without any further ado, let's just get started. The first thing you want to do is come over here and create a new file, and let's name that file register.html. Let's name this register.html. So in here, this way we'll actually keep our registration form, and let's see if this is working. So let's open up a h1 tag and let's name this register page. So it is just to see if it's working. So with the register page, and how we want to access this is come over here and go to /register. So as you can see, it said page not found. And why is page not found when we have actually created the template and named this registered page? So that's because we haven't actually created a view for it, and we haven't created a URL. So let's first of all create a URL for that. And in order to create a URL, you just do the same thing that we did over here. Duplicate this. Now it should have register, and that's because we have to go over to /register. That's why you're putting it in here. Then it should also have views.register, which we haven't actually created. I will also create that in a minute. And it should have a name of register that we're going to be using to link buttons together. So with all this being done, that's all we need for the urls.py, and it's giving this error because we don't have a comma over here. And don't make sure you don't forget that, because you actually run into errors when you don't have commas there. So let's get rid of this, get rid of the main.css, and get rid of the base, get rid of home. Now we're left with just views and register. So let's just get started. Now in the views, let's go ahead and just define a register and see if this works. So I want to define register over here, and it should take a request, and I want to return render request home register /html. So that should be pretty much it's what I want to do. Now if you come over here and refresh, it should work now, and as you can see we have register page. So it's working. Then we can go ahead and configure everything that we need for this page. First of all, let's just get rid of everything that's in here. Boom, everything is gone. Then you want to grab a register form that I created over here already. So grab these, and I told you in the last video that a link to all this will be provided in the description below, so make sure to check it out. Now you want to paste this in here, but with this been pasted in here, if you come over here and refresh, you get first of all, because there should be a lot of errors here, first of all you get invalid filter crispy. So if you could recall, there was a package that we installed named crispy, and it's actually used to style our form, but now we haven't actually configured that. So let's just go ahead and do that first of all. So the first thing we want to do here is come over here, open a code block. Let's open a code block over here, and let's say load Django underscore. I don't think that's Django. I think it's load crispy underscore forms underscore tags. So this is how it should be. Now if you come over here and refresh, it's actually gone, the error is gone, but this is looking way too bad, trust me. Then the next thing we want to do is inherit extend from our base.html. If you remember, we need a navigation bar here, so we have to extend from there because that's where our navigation bar is. Come over here and let's open up a new code block, and let's extend from users / base.html. Now with this, when you refresh, we get this awesome navigation bar over here. Now take notes, our registration page is gone. And why did that happen? If you could recall, why did that happen? So let me just go ahead and tell you. That's because we don't have this form in a code block. So let's just put this form in a code block that looks like this. If you could recall, block content. So I told you all those form codes need to be home for them to work, and you have to make sure you end this with end block. So everything that we wrote for the registration page need to be at home before they actually work. And now when you refresh, you see that we have this cool dummy registration page now that has only a sign up button and a sign in button and a join now legends, I think. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and create the registration form now. So in order to create registration form, we'll actually be doing that in the views.py. Now you want to come over here at the top and say form is equal to user creation form. And whilst that's not working, that's because we haven't actually imported the user creation form. So here, let me just get rid of this HTTP response and import the user creation form, and that's from Django.contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. And that should be pretty much what I want to install here. And let's just come over here and define a variable form, set it to user creation form, and put this in a parentheses. Now there's something that I want to do here. It's kind of tricky, but just pay attention. You might just grab it at your first try, but if you don't, just with time you actually understand what it does. So we actually need to define a key and pass in this form into the key so that we would access this form over here from our register page. Okay, I know you might not understand this, but let's just go ahead and do it. And as we're doing it, I'll explain. So you want to open up a dictionary over here, open up a string in the dictionary like this. Then you want to pass in a key of form. Then outside the string, you want to make a semicolon and pass in form that we defined over here. So with this being done, that's pretty much all we need to do. Now in order to access this form, that's what we passed in here in our register HTML template. That's what we passed in here. So if you just come over here and refresh, now you see a dummy form that doesn't actually look nice, and we'll actually make this to look good in a minute. So as you can see, our form is showing up now, and that's pretty good. But if you get rid of this, our form is gone, and it says could not find blah blah blah, and that's because there's only crispy here. So let's just leave it the way it was and refresh this. So we have this dummy stuff over here. Now the next thing we want to do here is actually start importing the load static over here, so it actually styles the form and all that. So first of all, let's open a code block and let's load static, and let's see how that looks now. So no change. There's supposed to be a change to this, and let's see again, load static, and I think okay, it's not loading in any link tag here. Now let's just come over here and let's open up a link, and we should just copy the one that's in the home.html, this one over here. Let's just copy it and see if it works. But if it doesn't work, that means we don't have any CSS for that. So in here, refresh. Okay, nothing much is showing up here, but we actually have to style this form because it looks really bad now. To actually make this form look nice and not look so annoying like this, the only thing I can do is go over to my settings.py, and I want to define a crispy template pack that would inherit from Bootstrap 4. So let's just come over to settings.py over here. Then all the way down, I want to define a crispy underscore template underscore pack and set this to Bootstrap 4. Then when we refresh this, it should actually look nice now. And as you can see, we have a pretty good HTML template over here, which renders our register page, and everything looks nice now. Let's just go ahead and make it actually functional. So when we try creating a new user here, let's create a new user. So what's your name? Let me create it with your name. Okay, I don't know your name. Let's just go with Henry. Password, let's go with testing321. Testing321, and that's pretty much the easiest password that you can use in order for this Django security checks here not to detect that you're using a very easy password. At the same time, it's easy. Testing321. Then when you sign up, it just refreshes this page and nothing happens. So let's make this functional now. In the views.py, just below here, you want to say if requests method is equal to post, and take note, I'm using a double equal sign here, which is like equal posts. Hopefully you understand. And what does this mean? Like, what's it trying to say? So it says if request.method is equal to post. Now, what is request.method and what is post? If you come over to the register.html, you'll see that we set a method of post here for the form. So if this was get, then this is not going to work because it's a conditional statement that's checking if the method here was set to post. So you want to make sure that your method here is set to post, and hopefully by now you should know what post and get does. But if you don't know, I will leave that to the description below, or I'll recommend a nice video that should actually explain that in details to you. So if request.method is equal to post, then what do you want to do next? You want to pass in this form over here. So after this form has been passed in, the next thing you want to do is in this form you want to inherit from requests.post. So request.post, the next thing you want to do here is also check if the form was valid. So if the user passed all the questions that were asked here, and pretty much I think that's what it does, and the form was valid, then what do you want to do? So let's actually type that out. If form.is valid, then don't forget the semicolon. Then what do you want to do? First of all, we want to save form.save. And what does form.save do? So if you can remember, when we filled all this up and sign up, it's just refreshed the page. It didn't actually save a user. And where is it saving a user? It's saving a user to the database, which we haven't actually gotten to now. So let's just go ahead and keep doing the main things at the meantime. So first of all, we'll save the form. Second of all, we want to get the username, like the username that the user puts in here. So in order to do that, we'll say form.clientData.get. Then in here you want to get username, and the next thing you want to do is I think display a message here. Let's display a message at the home page somewhere here, which should say something like, hi Tom, your account has been successfully created, which you saw in the preview video at the beginning. So let's go ahead and do that, and we have to use message.success because that's actually a success message. But before we do that, we want to import message from Django.contrib import message. And right here we want to say messages.success, and this one to take in request first, and it's want to take a second argument of formatted string that should say hi. Then let's call the username, come over here, username, your account was created successfully. So this is actually the message that's going to show up somewhere here at the home page. Hopefully you remember. So your account was created successfully. The next thing we want to do when the account was created successfully is, like, let's say it redirects the user to the home page. But that's not actually where we want to redirect user to. But for the meantime, let's redirect user to the home page, and we have to import redirects from here. Redirect before we come over here and say return redirect, and we want to redirect to home. As easy as that. Then if all this didn't actually work out to be good, let's say the form wasn't valid and the request.method wasn't posed, then what do we want to do? So we're using an else statement for that. We want to pass in form is equal to user creation form again, and just pass in return the render. So I think that's actually all we need to do now, and come over here, refresh, and it says no such table auth_user. So let's just get rid of this now. I know. Come over here and let's come over to /register. Okay, and it's working now. But when we create a new user now, where do you want to see like all the users that have signed up to your website? That should be in your database, and this is how to access your database. Port 8000/admin error. And it's not supposed to show this now because we haven't actually created or migrated the new folder that we just created. So let's just go ahead and try logging in. And as you can see, it says no such table auth_user, and that's because we haven't created a super user for the database, like for the admin. And so in order to create a super users, let's see the into auth_sys projects, and in the auth_sys project you want to do python manage.py create super user, hit enter. And what does it say? It says no such table auth_user, the same error that we got over here. And why is it showing this error? That's because we haven't actually migrated everything that we got when we run our development server. So let me show you what I'm trying to say here. Let's see if we could actually see some of this. Okay, see, it says you have 18 unapplied migrations. Your project may not work properly until you apply the migrations for apps, admin, auth, blah blah blah. So we actually have to run a migrate command for all this to work. And if you want to run a migrate command, it's as easy as saying python manage.py migrate and hit enter. So now it's applying all the migrations and it's done successfully. Now you could create a super user, and first thing it want to take is the username. I want to name this Desphixs. Then it wants an email address. I want to name this desphixs@gmail.com. So I want to name this desphixs@gmail.com, and the next thing I want to do here is define the password. So my regular password, Destin321, and super user created successfully. Now we can log into our admin panel, log in, and welcome to your database. So we actually made it to our database, and as you can see, Desphixs is logged in. Then when you come over to users, you see that we have only one user that's signed up now, which is Desphixs. Now let's go ahead and create a new user from the front end here. And why we're creating this is because you don't want your website users or visitors to actually come into your admin panel, like your database, and come and click on add user, then fill in their name, password, and password confirmation and hit save. No, you don't want that. That's why we're actually making this. And let's see if this works now. So I want to put a name, let's say Henry, and let's use a password of Destin321, then sign up. And it says CSR verification failed, request aborted, and that's just like a security check for Django. All you have to do is refresh this and try it again. But let me show you something. Come over here. Okay, let's just fill in this first before I show you what I want to show you. Destin321, sign up. So as you can see, it's redirected us back to the home page, and if you can remember, that's what we did somewhere, let's see here, So if everything works fine, redirect us back to the home page. Now in here, let's refresh and see that we have a new user, Henry. Now we have 2 users, and this was actually made from here, and it says, hi Henry, your account was created successfully. But why didn't that show up over here? And that's because we haven't done one more thing in the base.html. so let's travel to the base.html template and do that. So in the base.html, you want to come down here and just close this up first, and just above the block content, I want to create open up some code block and duplicate this in 4 places. So I'm using Ctrl D to duplicate. Then this is kind of tricky, so pay attention to this. First of all, we want to check if messages. So we want to check if there are messages, and they want to end if here, and if, and the next thing we want to check is for message in messages. So what this does is it checks for one message in all the messages. It's very easy and self-explanatory. So it says for message in messages, then we want to end for over here. We want to end the for loop that we opened, and let's indent this. So with this being indented, the next thing we want to do over here is in the for loop like this, you want to create a div, and let's give this div a class. Let's give this div a class of alerts, and alerts dash, open up a double curly brackets over here. Then you want to pass in message.tags. So message.tags actually gets the right message. If it's a success message or whatever, then in here you also want to open up double curly brackets like this and pass in message, which actually defined at the home page, which is actually here. So message.tags, then message, and take note of these brackets over here. They don't have like a percentage sign, like this is used to call variables in Django. So let's see if all this works. And there's one more thing I want to do here. I want to add all this for loop and if statements into a div that has a class of container. So div class, let's define a class, and let's give this a class of container. Then in this div, that's where I want to put in all this. So let's see if this actually works fine. Come over to our /register page. Then the username, I want the username to be, let's say, let's give it a username of Destiny, and password testing321, testing321. Sign up, and it works fine. It says, hi Destiny, your account was created successfully. Now I think we are done with the register page, apart from the fact that we haven't done one more thing, which is give a field where the users can put in their email address, because it's actually be a nightmare for us to come over here and manually fill in email address for each and every one of the users. Imagine that we have over 5,000 users. Then how do you want to fill the email address? So we want to define an email address field over here that the user can also use. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now in the users app, right click and create a new file, and I want to name this let's say forms. Okay, forms. Then in this forms.py, first of all you want to import user. So from Django.contrib.auth, okay, sorry for that, .auth.models imports user. Then you want to import user creation form. So from Django.contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. And finally you want to import forms from Django. So from Django import forms, as easy as that. So let's go ahead and make use of all this stuff that we just imported. Now first of all, you want to create a class over here. Let's create a class, and let's name this class user register form. and this should inherit from the user creation form. And in here we need an email field, so let's just name this email, then forms dot email field. And this how it's done. I think very easy. Then we want to define a class of meta, and in the class of meta it should query the model user, I think, and it should use the model user and also the fields that we need for this. First of all, we need a username, which is the first one. Then second of all, we need the email, which would be above the password one. Then thirdly, we need password. Sorry, that's not spelled correctly. So we need password 1 and we need password 2. And that's pretty much all we need for this. So let's just come over here and copy this user register form, come over to our views. Now I want to replace all the user creation form with the user register form. Hopefully you understand. Replace all the user creation form with the user register form in the views.py, and it gives us an error, and that's because we haven't imported the user register form from forms. So from Django.forms import user register form, and the errors are gone. So let's come over here now. Time to show you the magic in 3, 2, 1, go. Now we have an email field that looks so nice. So let's try creating a new user over here. Give him an email, give him a password, and confirm the password. I think that's a wrong password. Let's see. I know that's a wrong password. So give him a password and hit sign up. So it says, hi Destiny, your account was created successfully. When you come over here and see that Destiny with a small letter D and Henry doesn't have email addresses, but when you refresh now, Destiny with a capital letter D has an email address. So we are done with the user register form. Now let's go over to the user login form. So the user login form is just very easy, and in order to do that, create a new template over here, and let's name this login. So it would look exactly like the register form. So I want to copy all the code in the register form, come over to login, and let's paste this in here, and let's get rid of some of this, like the settings.py, home, forms. So all these are gone now. The next thing I want to do is come over here and change some things that I don't want to use. So let's get rid of this. And there is one more thing I want to get rid of. That. Okay, everything looks nice now. The first thing I want to do is change join now to sign in now. Then I want to change this button over here that says sign up to sign in or login. Then a small tag over here that says already have an account. I want to change this to don't have an account yet. Sorry for that. Don't have an account yet, then sign up today. And that's pretty much all we need for the login form. Let's go ahead and check how this works. So come over to here, and when we come over to /login, this won't work because we haven't configured the URL for it. Page not found. So let's configure a URL for this. Now in the URL.py here, first of all, you want to import from Django.contrib.auth import views as auth_view. So this is how it does. I know it's kind of long, but that's just the way it does. From Django.contrib.auth import views as auth view. So this import view, what it's got are things like the login view, the logout view, just pretty much those two, the login and the logout view. So let's just go ahead and start using them. So we want to define a path, and the first part want to take in a string that has login / then it's going to take in auth_view dot login view dot as view parenthesis. Oh, I know this is way too long. So this is what it does. Auth.view, which we defined here, dot login view, which we imported over here that you're not actually seeing, dot as view, which is a method that the login views do use. Then in this parenthesis here, I want to pass a template name. So where is the login template going to be? So template underscore name is equal to slash users slash login.html. Then let's give this a name. Finally, a name of, what should we name this? Let's just name this login. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Don't forget your comma over here, and let's just leave a comma over here too. So that's pretty much all we need for the login page. Let's go ahead and see if this works. And it says template does not exist at login users slash login.html, and that's because in here I put in user instead of users. Now when you refresh, now we have the login form which says sign in now, and you can sign in with your username and password. So sign in, and as you can see it said page not found. It's actually working now, but it's redirecting us to account slash profile slash, which we don't have in the page for this over here. So in order to fix that, come over to your settings.py all the way down. You want to set a login underscore redirect underscore URL, and let's set this to home. Yeah, let's just set that to home. Okay, now when we come over here, get rid of this, then come over to our login page, login, then we'll try logging in. Now it brings us back home because we are logged in. Now how do you know that we are logged in, since we still have the create account and login, since they have the create account button and login button over here? How do you know that we actually logged in? So let's actually come over here, refresh this, and it says welcome Desphixs. So when I come over here and log out, then come over here, refresh this, and come back to slash login. Then now I want to log in as Henry, and sign in. So if you come over here and refresh, it should give an error, and it says you are authenticated as Henry but are not authorized to access this page. Would you like to log in to a different account? And why is he not authorized to access this page? That's because he's not a super user. It's only Desphixs that's the super user, if you could remember. But this should actually give you a hint that we are logged in now as Henry, and it's working because we logged in as Henry over here. Okay, if you don't still believe that, let's go ahead and log out. Sorry, the logout is not working yet. You can actually just log out from here. So hopefully you see that the login is working, and if you don't still believe that it's working, in few minutes, maybe like in 3 minutes time, we should show you that it's working. So let's just go ahead and continue what we're doing. Now I want to create a logout page, and also create a logout page, right click over here, come over to new HTML file, logout.html. Then it should exactly look like the login, not really, but let's just inherit some things from the login, and let's get rid of all this. In here, I want to open up h1, and let's say you have been logged out. Then you want to open up a link to, let's say the link should be a h5 link, then let's say log in again. So login again. Let's come over to the urls.py and let's define a URL for it. So just duplicate this, change this one over here to logouts. It should exactly look the same, but with logouts instead of login. Login view, change it to logouts view. Template name, change this to logouts, change this to logouts. So let's see if this works now. Now here everything works fine. Let's try logging in. Okay, that the button is not working yet. Let's log in, and we logged in as Desphixs. Okay, now let's try logging out, and it says you have been logged out, log in again. And I want this to be in a container, so it will be in a straight line over here. So let's just do that. It's very easy. And in order to do that, just open up a div over here, and you want to give this div a class of container. Then in the container you want to pass in this, and let's make sure the indentation are all looking good, and we could just get rid of this. So as you can see, this looks really nice. Now you have been logged out, log in again. So now this actually shows us when we have been logged out and when we are supposed to log in. So the next thing I want to create now is I actually have a register, I have a login, logout. Now I need a profile page. I think, yeah, I need a profile page so we can actually know when we are logged in and when we are not logged in. So let's just come over here and create a new profile.html. So in the profile.html, there's pretty much nothing much that we want to do over here. Let's just copy this. Then the profile, I want to get rid of all this, paste it in there, get rid of that, and the block content and block. Then in here I want to open up let's say a h2 tag, and a h2 tag should take in user.username. So user.username actually gets the current user's username. It's as easy as that. The user is the current user dot gets its username, or gets the person's username. Then so I want to get the person's email too, and I want all this to be in a div that has a class of container, and let's just pass all this into the div like that. Okay, I think this should be working well. Let's just go ahead and create a URL for it so we can actually see it on our website. You could just duplicate this one over here, and let's change this to profile, change this to views.profile. Then name should be profile. Sorry, that's wrong. Profile. And we need to create a views for it again. And down here, let's define profile, and they should take in from requests. And let's just return a simple render function. So we can just come over here and copy this one and paste it down here. Okay, man, let's just copy this one over here, paste it down here, and let's change this to profile.html and get rid of this over here. So I think that's pretty much all we need. Let's go ahead and see if this works fine. Come over to /profile, and as you can see, it's working fine, but I think nobody is logged in. That's why it's not showing any username and email. So let's go ahead and log in and see if it shows the username and email. So sign in, then come over to /profile, and as you can see, it shows the username and the user email. So that's pretty much what we need. Now let's actually go ahead and configure it so that we can know when our user is logged in versus when our user is logged out. So let's just do that. Now in order to do that, you have to do it in the base.html. So in the base.html, come over to this place. So let me just adjust this. Come over to this place that will have these two buttons over here, and you want to duplicate this one. So let's just duplicate it, and let's give this a space. So I want this one to be the profile button. Sorry, let's just get that right, profile, and I want this one to be the logout. So let's see how this looks here. So ugly. Now what's the next thing I want to do? This is the logic. If the user is logged in, we don't want to see create account and login. But when the user is not logged in, we can see create account and login because the user actually wants to create an account or login. So in order to do that, come over here and let's create open up a code block over here, and in the code block you should have if user dot is underscore authenticated. That is, if a user is logged in, then we want to see all this. Else, what do we want to see? Else, if a user is not logged in, we want to see our random dummy create account and login. Then let's just come over here and then if. I think that should be it. So as easy as that. And if so, as easy as that, we have something up and running. So when you refresh, now we have only profile and logout. So let me make sure I spell that correct. Profile. Okay, so we have only profile and logout. So let's go ahead and log out and see. Now we log out, we have create account and login. Hopefully you understand what's going on here. It's very easy. Login as Desphixs. We have profile and accounts now. So that's pretty much it. Now I think we should be done by now. Our profile is working, our logout is working, create and login is working. So let's just go ahead and link all the buttons together. So over here in the A tag, you want to open up a href and open up a code block, and in the code block URL, then in the URL, this should be profile. So let's just name this profile. And why we name this profile was because in the URL we give it a name of profile over here, so you just know what's going on. So profile, let's copy all this, paste it in here, paste this here, and let's change this to logout, and that's because we gave it a name of logout over here. And let's paste in another one here, and let's name this register. Paste in another one over here, and let's name this log in. Now in our logouts, login again, I want to paste this over here too. Sorry, that's not what I want to do. I just get rid of all this, paste this, then let's change this to login. Then in the login.html, or don't have an account, sign up. So let's change this over here to register. And finally, I think that should be it. Let's check our login form and let's check our register. So in register, we still have one that we haven't linked. So link this to login. Now close up one of this. So finally, the last ones are in the, I think, where should they be? In the base, yeah, in the base.html, and that's it's in the logo. So in the logo, let's come over here, V, and then change this to home. So that's pretty much it. Everything is actually working fine now. We could come over to profile and we see our profile over here. We could come over to home, we could log out and it shows you have been logged out. We could log in again as whoever we want to log in, and it doesn't show the create button, blah blah blah. You come over to profile, you see your profile, then you can log out and create an account. And let's create a new account, programmer, and let's say programmer123@gmail.com, and let's give it the password testing123, testing321. I'm sorry for that. And it says we should include this, so include that. Sign up, and it says, hi programmer, your account was created successfully. Now what I want to do lastly is make sure that this redirects us to the login page after we create an account. And I don't want something here. As you can see, Desphixs is logged in, but okay, let's just log out. As you can see, nobody's logged in, but you can still access the profile page like this. So it doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to access the profile page when you're not logged in. It's supposed to show you like a login form when you try to access the profile page when you're not logged in. So let's just go ahead and fix these two things. First of all, I pretty much forgot what I said I wanted to fix here. So let's just go ahead and start with the first one. So the first one is in the views. We want to import from Django.contrib.auth dot decorators import login required. So in the profile over here, let's say at login required. So that's pretty much all we need for that to work fine. Now refresh this when we are not logged in and we come over to /profile. It gives us this error over here, and that's because we actually need to define a login URL that's the URL actually recognizes. That's not this account profile blah blah blah. And I know this might be kind of long to you, but let's actually go and see what it does. So in the settings.py, just below here, you want to type out login underscore URL and set this to login. Now when we try accessing the profile page again, when we are logged out, it's redirects us to the login page. Isn't that cool? Now you can log in and it takes you to the profile, as easy as that. So everything looks really nice now, I think. And that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed the series and learned something new in Django, and if you did, I'd highly enjoy it if you drop a like on this video and consider subscribing to stay updated with later amazing videos. And I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye.